just speaking directly to the weight gain thing, because I would think it's fair to say that at least falls in the top 3 to 5. When I've talked to women, they're just like, it happened overnight. And yes. I know what they're saying. It feels like it happened overnight, because all of a sudden you get up in the morning and the clothes just don't fit the same. And while it didn't technically happen overnight, it sure does feel like all of a sudden, boom, it was there. So for our women listeners and even our male listeners who have wives that are going through this, what can you tell them about that part, and what can they start doing right now to at least to alleviate their stress and anxiety? Because that doesn't help as well, because all of a sudden now our cortisol is going up, and so that's just facilitating, that's just causing all other kinds of issues that feed into that. What are some things, obviously getting your books, but what are some things they can start doing today to feel better about that and feel like they're going to start doing things that are going to help with that?
Yeah. And definitely bringing up cortisol. It's such a huge impactor in our health. Perceived stress and real stress. And a lot more of stress is perceived than real. Yeah. So getting control of our thoughts and getting control of our cortisol, that makes a big difference, because with cortisol up, glucose goes up, and that sets us into this insulin-resistant, weight-gaining, inflammatory state that really affects us. So I say the first thing is we really want to shift to more of an alkaline lifestyle.
Right.
Because cortisol increases acidity, oxytocin and increases alkalinity. Mm-hmm. So things that bring us joy, bring us peace, meditation, laughter, having good girlfriend time conversations, mm-hmm. right? Things that increase our oxytocin are going to decrease cortisol and help us be more alkaline at the physiologic level. Now, this I typically tell clients, check your urine pH, this.
Yeah.
So check your urine pH. It is such an important vital sign, just like your pulse, just like your weight, just like your blood pressure. Your urine pH is telling you how you are interacting with your environment. And stress, just thinking stressful thoughts, will increase your urine acidity, but alkalinity over time, a higher alkaline urine, a pH of 7 or higher over time, is associated with better health, less osteoporosis, less cancer, less diabetes, less hypertension, all of these really important factors. So I would say right now, just easy for pennies a day, you can check urine pH and start to just kind of get a feel. What stresses you out? When are you more alkaline? And get that pH when you wake up and when you go to bed, 7 or greater. So 7 is kind of that neutral, and anything greater than 7 is alkaline. Anything less than 7 is acidic. So that's kind of your barometer there. So doing things that will make you more alkaline. So your dark leafy greens, your green vegetables, your kale, Swiss chard, beet greens, microgreens like broccoli sprouts and herbs, cilantro, parsley, all of those are really nutrient rich and alkalinizing, supporting your body's function. Now, guys have 10 times much testosterone as women. So they're more in that anabolic state than women. We quickly shift to that catabolic state. Okay, let's break down and get our nutrients from bone, muscle, and collagen breaking down. We can see, oh my gosh, I just have this visual. You can see presidents, and at the end of their 4 years, 8 years, right? They've got wrinkles, they've got gray hair. That's cortisol. So checks and balances, that alkalinizing factor is hugely life-shifting, and not just in what we're eating, but it's the thoughts we're keeping. What we can do to increase oxytocin, the love and bonding hormone, not to be confused with oxycodones.
I love that you bring that in, because I think, depending where a woman's at, or where her mindset is at, and how she's feeling about herself, because menopause does have a massive mental, emotional, psychological impact. It really can. And some women are able to kind of navigate through that a little better in terms of shifting mindset into okay, these are the things that make me happy. I need to do more of these things. But for the woman who's sitting across from you, who's just feeling like, I've done everything, this is just menopause. It's the demon. It's the devil. I have no hope. How important are those I'll call them non-nutrition, non-medical type things, like the meditation, the getting outside, the walking, the exercising, for influencing mindset, that sort of emotional connection to having a better impact on your overall menopause experience?
Essential. Essential, Tonya. It's not just about what we eat or how much we move, right? That's why we know diet and exercise can't fail. In the majority, or we rebound because if that's all we're doing, right? And it's these other lifestyle factors, and it makes a huge difference in resetting. I'll give the example. When I first started on this journey back when I was 48, I'm 54, soon to be 55 now. And, recognizing that when I went into a very carb-restricted keto style plan, I was really acidic, and that's why it was adding to my edge and irritability. I'm like, okay, I can't do this as a single mom with two teenagers at home and a wee one. So that was really challenging. But I noted, like, as I started to increase my greens, I noted the mornings I went out and walked on the beach, or the mornings I did my gratitude journaling, I was more alkaline all day. All day, it was easy for me. The way we start our mornings affects our day, and comes, and also, on the opposite side is I also recognize, especially when I was wearing continuous glucose monitor and creating my second book, Keto Green 16, I was wearing, just monitoring everything I ate, how the meals would, affect blood sugar, et cetera. And what I noticed when the mornings I got out of bed and had that cup of coffee, my blood sugar would go up. I mean, no sugar, no cream. And this is I was like, wow. And on an intellectual level, I'm like, okay, caffeine will increase cortisol, which will increase glucose, but like 20 points, enough to kick me out of ketosis just to the black coffee. So, and a fragile adrenal, stressful life, right? So it's important to kind of figure that stuff out. And yet I noted, okay, so that practice of, before I even get out of bed in this morning, really getting to that state of gratitude and compassion. And that shifts me into being more alkaline, blood sugar stays stable. I can have my cup of coffee after I break fast.
So what would you say are some of the worst toxins that we're dealing with in our environment today, in our lives today? Because I agree with you that what we're having, what we deal with on a daily basis is staggeringly different than our mothers and especially our grandmothers. It's a very different world.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And it's really, I think, like, other than stressful thoughts or negative thoughts. And we really have to condition our mind around that to focus on the positive. And in my groups, I say you have to develop a cheer word, a word that when you think it makes you smile, or when you say it, it brings a smile to your face. Like the word smile. Or maybe it's a place that you like to go to that kind of can bring you into this physiologic shift. That really makes a difference. So changing our physiology, and when we feel our thoughts going down negative pathways, like, oh my gosh, doom and gloom and this and that, focus on the positive, what you know to be good and true in your world right now.
Right.
Where do you feel love today, right now? And focus on that. And that shifting our negative thoughts, a huge toxin. And other than that, endocrine disruptors. I mean, the makeup that we put on our face, I mean, the hair care, skin care, lotions, potions, sunscreens, have a tremendous amount of toxicity. So thankfully, due to awareness, there are really some good brands that are more conscientious, eliminating the parabens, avoiding the phthalates, the petroleums, the artificial sweeteners, toxic neurotoxins to our system, because all of those are endocrine disruptors. Chlorinated water will interfere with our thyroid gland and interferes with iodine receptors, which is necessary for healthy thyroid function.
Right.
So, there's a tremendous amount of work we have to do to become toxin free.
Right.
We have to do it. And a lot of times it is being that conscientious consumer. It's also saying no to more, right? Less is more.
Yes.
And choosing the organic, whole foods, not Frankenfoods, not boxed and packaged. We're designed to be that, right? But lift the cloud, have that higher voice of wisdom, higher connection to God or spirit, and to raise our energetic vibrations out of the reproductive mode. Highs and lows of hormones, right? Into a beautiful, really, it's an enlightened mode. It really should be this stage of enlightenment.
Yes. I love that.
I do too. And that's how I look at it. I mean, when I was, back in that throes of that spiraling downwards, 48, hitting my second menopause, my story.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so it was really spiraling down. I mean, I had trouble keeping anything together. I'd closed my business to focus on my family, and I made some bad business decisions. I had just had made bad relationship decisions. I got engaged. I shouldn't have.
Yeah.
All these things, this brain fog. And so, until I cleared that, until I understood, and I needed to understand what is happening to my physiology. Why is this happening? And what can I do about it naturally, holistically, and I don't want to be medicated. And that was my mindset. And so as I elevate into what I call my keto green, keto alkaline way of living, that just the brain clarity, the weight loss, the energy, obviously I've written 2 books, online programs, 3rd book on the way. And I just love what I do. I love seeing women go from, struggling or maybe just powering through to really that thriving.
Thriving.
That stage.
What do you think about this idea? And I've been thinking about this a lot the last couple months, that maybe it's sort of this way, this whether you want to call it like a God thing, or because everybody has their version or their belief system. But what if I was sitting back and thinking, like, women and where we are and what we do in terms of our presence on this earth. We're the mothers, we're the nurturers, we're the caregivers. We put so much emphasis and focus on everybody else around us. We spend our lives taking care of others, and often to the detriment of ourselves. And we do that. And I mean, most women will tell you that they love being mothers. They love all of that, but they do get tired, they get exhausted. And I sometimes wonder, I was thinking about this, and I wonder if this transition, because I refuse to say this, menopause, but I wonder if this transition is a way of life forcing us to actually have to step into taking care and nurturing ourselves, making ourselves a priority, being selfish in our own self-care, and start making really awesome choices and decisions to live a life that fulfills us, so we can continue to be the awesome caregiver and nurturer, but in a different way, in a different phase, because our children don't need us in their 20s and 30s the way they needed us when they were little. So right. I was wondering, I wonder if that's just some way that the earth, the world, the universe, how it's been designed to kind of force us into a corner, like, well, now what are you going to do? Now you need to take care of yourself, because this can be like this, or it can be like this.
Yeah. And to recognize, like, from going from the caterpillar to the butterfly, you have to cocoon.
Yes.
Right? And that, like, self-care is selfless, and whatever that means for you. But it is so important. I tell moms all the time, because I'm 55, almost 55, with a 12, soon to be 13-year-old teenager again, going through this teenage years with yet another girl. I can't wait.
Yeah.
So you have to be mentally clear, because let me tell you, teenage girls, they know how to take advantage of you.
They will keep you on your toes.
They will. And so one thing I recognized is that, I was doing for them, sacrificing for them, right? Thinking, okay, I'm a single mom, caregiver, I've got to take care, doing everything for them and everyone else in my life, my employees, my patients, my clients, all of it, right? And until I was brought to my knees, I was struggling. And then I said, okay, well, starting taking care of myself, getting into shifting the physiology on a daily practice, shifting my mindset on a daily practice. Just what's the one next right step? I say this for my audience of one, being God, and my audience of one, not worrying about what other people need from me. My audience of one, what is my one next right step? And as I got clearer, and as I got healthier, and as I started doing these self-care, the meditation, the gratitude, the prayer, the physical exercises, incorporating that into a regular routine with the nourishment, my keto green checklist. And I did this for myself. My kids were better too. They were calmer. They were happier. They are calmer. They are happier, and they're energetic, and we have the best relationships of our lives. So a maternal energy is honestly gosh, I mean, it's almost like
a guidepost or something.
A guidepost or a passageway for, a safe place for your kids, and their energy, they take from your energy. You're vibrating at a higher positive energy, open, calm, warm, comfortable. The kids are too.
Yes.
And I have tested this out, like that fried morning type, just like zoomed up. And then the kids are getting late for school. They're irritable. First is, okay, I start slow, paced, meditative, gratitude. Everyone's energy follows through. And honestly, there's some amazing energetic, throughway from the mom.